Imagine hearing the chilling sound of a broom sweeping across your floor at midnight. The rhythmic scratching growing louder as it approaches your room. Now imagine turning on the light to find no one there, just an empty hallway and a broom moving on its own. This is not a horror movie. This is a true life story of Madam Kate, whose son's love was so strong that not even death could stop him from keeping their home clean. Watch until the end and keep your tissues close. On a quiet Monday morning in the suburbs of Lagos, 15-year-old Junior bounded down the stairs of his family modern two-story home, already dressed in his SS3 uniform. His mother, Madam Kate, smiled as she heard the familiar sound of the broom sweeping against the marble floor. "That's my boy," she called out from the kitchen where she was preparing breakfast, always making the house sparkle before anyone else wakes up. Junior appeared in the doorway, his tall frame filling the space, bright smile lighting up the room. Despite being in his final year of secondary school, with WAEC preparations and all, he never missed his morning cleaning routine. "Good morning, mommy. I finished the living room and hallway. Should I do the kitchen after breakfast?" Kate walked over to her firstborn son, straightening his blue and white striped tie. At 15, he towered over her now, but he was still her little boy. "No need, Nnam, my darling. It's your last day of secondary school. You should get going early to say goodbye to your friends." The morning light streamed through the kitchen windows, catching the silver pendant around Junior's neck, a gift from his mother for being named the cleanest prefect in school. His obsession with cleanliness wasn't just about tidiness, it was his way of showing love, especially to his mother. "The house always shines because of you," Kate said, reaching up to run her hand through his neatly combed hair. "Your siblings could learn a thing or two from you, you know." As if on cue, thundering footsteps announced the arrival of his younger siblings, 12-year-old Sarah and 10-year-old David. Their uniform always wrinkled, shoes scuffed. "Look at you two," Kate sighed, shaking her head. "Why can't you be more like your elder brother, Junior? His uniforms are always perfect." The younger children looked down, obviously embarrassed. Junior quickly changed the subject, asking about breakfast to ease their discomfort. This was their normal morning routine. Junior the perfect son, the others trying to live up to his standards. None of them knew that this ordinary morning would be their last together. None of them could have guessed that by sunset, their world would shatter into a million pieces, and that the sound of sweeping would take on a whole new meaning in their lives. At breakfast, Junior was unusually quiet, pushing his eggs around his plate. "What's wrong, darling?" Kate asked, noticing his hesitation. "Mommy, the boys are having a pool party at Maxwell's house to celebrate finishing WAEC. Can I go with them?" Kate paused, a sudden unease settling in her stomach. Despite being 15, Junior had never learned to swim properly. Despite his father's attempt to teach him, he preferred staying home, helping with chores, and just relaxing. "I don't know, Junior. You've never been comfortable around water. So why are you wanting to go to a pool? And you know that Maxwell's pools is quite deep. Please, mommy. They have life jackets and other tools that will help me." His eyes sparkled with hope. "It's our last day together before everyone goes off to different universities. I can't miss this, Mom. I promise I'll be careful, and I'll clean everything when I get back." "Junior, this is not about cleaning." Oh. She looked at his pleading face. She looked at Junior's pleading face and felt her resolve weakening. He was right. They were his last moments with his friends before they all went their separate ways. "All right," she said finally, "but be home before sunset, okay? And please, please be careful around the pool. I don't know why you are choosing pool of all fun activities." Ha! Junior jumped up, hugging her tight despite his height. "Thank you, mommy. I love you so much." These words would haunt Kate forever. If only she had known they would be the last words she would hear from her son. Around 2 p.m. that afternoon, while preparing for dinner, Kate felt a sudden sharp pain in her chest. The spoon she was holding fell off, clattered to the floor as an inexplicable wave of dread washed over her. Something was wrong. Something terrible was going on. She called her husband, who was at work. Darling, I'm worried about Junior, she said, her voice shaking. I have a feeling. I don't know. I feel like something is going on. He's fine, Kate, her husband assured her. He's just celebrating with his friends. He will be home soon. You worry too much. But that feeling wouldn't leave her. Kate paced the kitchen, checking her phone every few minutes. But what she forgot to do was to pray for her son. By 4 p.m., Sarah and David returned from school. She was beside herself with anxiety. Why was Junior not back yet? By 4:30, she got a call. Hello? Is this Mrs. Kate? Maxwell's mother's voice was trembling. Hello? Mrs. Kate speaking. Hello? Mrs. Kate? Maxwell's mother's voice was trembling. You need to come to the state hospital immediately. There's been an accident. Kate's phone dropped off her hands. The world spun around her, and as her husband's voice echoed in her head, Kate dropped the phone. The world spun around her as her husband's voice echoed in her head from their earlier conversation. He's fine. You worry too much. But he wasn't fine after all. By the time Kate and her husband reached the hospital, it was too late. Junior had slipped into deep end of the pool unnoticed while his friends were taking photos. By the time they pulled him out, he had been underwater too long. The doctors tried everything, but they couldn't bring him back. I'm so sorry, the doctor said. But Kate couldn't hear him over her own screams. No, not my boy, not my son, no, she wailed, collapsing against her husband. Not my Junior. He was just sweeping the floor this morning. He promised to clean when he got back. He promised to come back. She kept crying. The days that followed passed in a blur. The house filled with mourners. But Kate barely registered their presence. Junior's perfectly pressed school uniform still hung on his door. His broom stood in the corner where he left them that morning. His bed was still neatly made. Hospital corners, perfect as always. Weeks passed, and the house fell into disarray. Dishes piled up in the sink, dust gathered on surfaces, clothes lay strewn about. Kate couldn't bear to clean. Everything reminded her of Junior. Every speck of dust felt like a betrayal of his memory. She began snapping at Sarah and David. Look at this mess! If Junior were here, would this place be like this? This place would be spotless. If Junior were here, these dishes would be done. Why can't you be more like your brother? The children withdrew, hurt and scared, while their father watched helplessly as his family fell apart. Then came that first night, 1 month after Junior's death. Kate lay awake at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling when she heard it. The unmistakable sound of a broom sweeping against the marble floor. The same rhythm, the same pattern Junior had always used. Her heart stopped. The sound moved from the living room towards the stairs, just as Junior had done every morning. Sarah's scream pierced the night. Sarah, the little girl. Daddy! Someone is downstairs! The whole family, except Kate, huddled in the master's bedroom as the sweeping continued. But Kate simply walked downstairs. The broom was moving on its own, sweeping in perfect strokes. And there, in the dim light, she caught a glimpse of something, a transparent figure, tall and familiar, holding the broom. Junior? She whispered. The sweeping stopped. The air grew cold. And then Kate began to cry. Deep, gut-wrenching sobs that echoed through the house. The broom clattered to the floor. The nightly sweeping became a haunting routine. Every night at exactly 2 a.m., the broom would move across the floors, tracing Junior's precise cleaning path. Sarah and David would huddle together in terror, while their father kept a protective arm around them. But Kate, she began to wait for Junior. One night, she spoke directly to the sweeping ghost. Junior? Is that you? The broom stopped mid stroke. The temperature dropped. A faint outline of Junior appeared, translucent but unmistakably him. His eyes filled with love and sadness, locked with his mother's. Mommy, the ghost whispered, I'm sorry I left you. Kate's heart shattered and mended simultaneously. My baby, she breathed. I miss you so much. As months passed, the family developed an unusual routine around Junior's ghostly presence. Sarah and David no longer ran in terror. They simply closed their door at 2 a.m. when the sweeping began. Their father stopped reaching for the cricket bat, though he never quite got used to it. But Kate lived for this moment. She started leaving Junior's favorite snacks out at night, chocolate cookie and orange juice. By morning, they will be untouched, but somehow looks different, as if someone had considered them. One particularly difficult night, after Kate had spent hours crying over Junior's school photos, the ghost materialized more clearly than ever before. He stood in the kitchen, broom still in hand, tears streaming down his transparent face. Mom, his voice echoed softly, you have to let me go. Kate reached out, her hand passing through his form. Junior, I can't, she sobbed. I don't know how to. She kept sobbing. You are keeping me here, Mom, Junior's ghost whispered. Your pain, it's like chains. I can't rest knowing you are hurting so much. That night changed everything. Kate realized her grief wasn't just hurting her, it was trapping her son's spirit in an endless loop of trying to comfort her. The most triggering experiences for Junior was each time his mother complained about their siblings' untidiness and not keeping the house clean. That always compels him to come and clean the house, even though what he was doing was not really making any difference. But he needed his mother to be happy. The healing began slowly. Kate started by cleaning the house herself, using Junior's broom. Each stroke was therapy, each clean surface a tribute to her son's memory rather than a painful reminder of his absence. She hung Junior's photo in the living room and started talking to it instead of waiting for his ghost. She helped Sarah and David develop their own cleaning routines, not to replace Junior, but to honor him. The ghost visits became less frequent. The sweeping would still come, but softer, shorter, like a gentle reminder rather than a desperate attempt to reach out. One night, exactly 1 year after Junior's death, Kate sat in the living room at 2 a.m. The house was spotless. She'd made sure of that. When the familiar sweeping sound began, she smiled through her tears. It's okay, my love, she whispered. You can rest now. We'll all be okay. The broom made one final sweep and clattered to rest. The air grew warm, and Kate felt something like a kiss on her forehead. In that moment, she knew Junior was finally at peace. Sarah and David found their mother asleep on the couch the next morning, Junior's broom across her lap, a peaceful smile on her face. The house sparkled in the morning light, cleaner than it's ever been since Junior's death. They never heard the sweeping again, but sometimes, on quiet mornings, they'd find small signs, a perfectly aligned pair of shoes, a neatly stacked pile of magazines, a spotless kitchen counter. Not a ghost desperate attempt to reach the living, but gentle reminder that love never truly dies. Kate finally understood. Junior hadn't been haunting their house, he'd been healing it, and through that healing, helping his family find peace. His love, just like his dedication to keeping their home clean, had transcended even death itself. And in the end, that was enough. Junior was gone, but his love remained. What do you think about this story? The fact that that young boy got drowned in a swimming pool. I think this is a call for parents to really enroll their children in swimming lessons to avoid cases like this. And if your child is not very comfortable around water, no matter how much they plead with you, don't let them go. Did you enjoy this story? Kindly subscribe, turn on your post notification bell to be the first to know when another amazing story is made available. Like and share so others will see this story and learn this lesson. Till the next story, story lovers, enjoy your day. Bye.